Love, hopefulness, heartache, and loss. You get it all with La Bohème.
Oh, it is one of the best known and most loved operas of all time, coming next weekend from Opera Omaha.
We got a treat this morning. They're taking a break from rehearsals to join us. Baritone Stephen Labrie and bass Christian Zaremba. Good to see both of you this morning.
Hi, gentlemen. Nice to meet
La
you.
Bohème. Who wants to take this? Tell us the story of La Bohème.
So basically, La Bohème is based on these plays by Henri Murger.
Very nice.
And Christian speaks French, so he has to check my accent.
I approve.
And at the time, he was a really important playwright and story writer. He would write for the newspaper, and he wrote this story about these Bohemians. And the concept of Bohemia, which is, you know, giving up the riches, giving up your bourgeoisie life in order to pursue the arts. So there's these four guys who live in this apartment, and they hang out and they do everything together. And it just so happens that one day a woman knocks on the door, and Rodolfo sees her, and he immediately falls in love with her, and she falls in love with him. And so they all go out on Christmas Eve, and they have a great time. And then, of course, you know, she has consumption, so things start to unravel in Act 3 and Act 4 with the struggle of their relationship. And, you know, my character Marcello also has his own struggles with his girlfriend Musetta, who is, you know, sings one of the most famous arias in the show. And you get to see their kind of tumultuous relationship as well. And Christian is the philosopher, and then there's another guy who is the musician. And they all kind of like have this quirky, fun lifestyle together, but have a rude awakening at the end when Mimi comes tragically to her death.
It's a real journey, a real emotional journey. Stephen,
Yes.
this is your debut
It
with
is.
Opera Omaha. You've been here before,
I have
Christian,
indeed.
but this is your first time.
It's
Your
my first time.
impressions so far?
Oh, you know, it's a really wonderful company. It's really well run. We have a great conductor and a great director who both are fantastic, and the cast is really well put together. And Roger, who's in charge of the company, has been really wonderful and gracious to all of us. So it's been a really great experience.
Yeah, Christian, you've been here before.
I have
describe your previous visits and stays with Opera Omaha.
Last year, in fact, I was fortunate enough to be the fight choreographer and also one of the characters, the bass character, Jake Wallace, in La Fanciulla del West, also a Puccini opera, incidentally. And,
Giacomo Puccini.
Giacomo Puccini, yes, indeed. Just as Stephen said, it's a wonderful company, and it's a privilege to do these Puccini operas that are really just resonant, not only from the operatic standpoint, but just as a standpoint from life in general, I think.
I always want to appeal to first-timers when we're fortunate to have professionals with us, because some people who may love music, but they haven't discovered opera yet. Christian, do you think this is a good toe-in-the-water piece?
I think if there's any piece to dip your toe in the water, I think that La Bohème is the one.
Is it?
I believe that it really addresses themes that are relatable to people of all ages, from all backgrounds, diverse backgrounds.
Well, if there's anybody to ask, it's Stephen, because I think, Stephen, you said you had an experience with La Bohème when you were young, right?
As a child.
So I grew up in Dallas, and at the Dallas Opera there used to be this, they would take all the students from the entire district to see performances. And the very first
Same
one,
here in Omaha, do the same thing, yeah.
I just heard that, you know, I was just talking to the marketing person, she told us, and I think that's amazing, you know. And so my very first opera that I ever saw, I was in 5th grade, so it was what, 10, 11, something like that. And it was La Bohème. And it just so happened that I fell in love with it, and I went back to class and I said, I want to be an opera singer. And so
That's what inspired it, huh?
It did. It turns out that I actually sang La Bohème in Dallas last season, and now I'm doing it here in Omaha.
Oh my
Same
gosh.
role or different role?
A different role. I did Chouinard last time. I'm doing
But
Marcello
talk
this
about
time.
that arc. That as a child, that this was, and to sort of have this moment in your life, like this full circle experience.
Yeah.
To sing opera, like that you're going to do it, okay. By the way, when I was like 4 years old, I told my mother I wanted to be an opera singer. Come to find out I couldn't sing, so that was a problem.
That's problematic.
The stars lined up for you the way they did. It's got to be a wild series to look back on.
Well, singing is something that I love. I feel like the human voice is so expressive, you know. It's the most expressive instrument in the way that, you know, it is, well, the only one that you can put words with, you know, and it's something that I love doing. I love practicing. I love singing. I love the stories that go along with opera, and you know, it's just a lot of beauty, you know.
So what ages would you recommend? Since you had that experience as a middle schooler,
Well,
now as a professional, what do you say? At what age would you say to parents and grandparents to bring them in?
I think, you know, we have kids in the chorus in La Bohème. There's a kids chorus in Act 2, and as young as 8 years old. You know, I was 10 when I saw it, and I was, you know, enthralled with it. So I think, you know, 8 to on up, or
Yeah.
even 7 if your kid is like good at sitting still for 2 hours, you know.
I know, it's tough to do. But they were telling us about something called Midday Music tomorrow. There's some opportunity. Are you guys familiar with that at all?
Not so much, but we're both singing on it.
Well, there's some opportunities to learn about La Bohème.
That's right.
And it's at Midday Music tomorrow.
And then about 50 minutes prior to each show, you'll have a chance to hear from the conductor or director about what they do and how they bring all of this to life. So I feel like for youngsters who are interested in music, college students, adults who are just curious about it, those are some really special opportunities where you're not just part of the audience, but you're part of the process. The shows are almost full. No surprise, but a few tickets are still available for Friday, November 4th. That show at 7:30, and then another on Sunday, November 6th. That's at 2 o'clock, both at the beautiful Orpheum Theater. And then you're welcome to call to get tickets or log on to ticketomaha.com.
But you're right about those performances that the companies do for the young kids and bring them in.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience when I was a kid, so it's good to see that you did
Yeah.
too. We're down in Dallas.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys, for
So
coming.
nice to
Thank you
meet
so much.
you.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you watch Comedy Central or late night shows, or our show for that matter, you know Cash Levy.
Yeah, you joined us last year. Look forward to catching up with Cash straight ahead.